to the point. Ro, I want you to talk to our listeners.
I recall closing a difficult door when I was dating a guy. I guess you could say we were dating. We met. We talked on the phone. He would come by my job, and he was just a really nice guy. And I had, began to take a really strong liking to him. And it appeared to be mutual. He would tell me about the church he grew up in, and he was so funny. We would laugh about him hiding his church shoes, and it was easy to talk about the Lord with him and everything. And I was feeling like he was believable. But I'm going to get to the point. One day I had a dream that me and him, we were in New York, and he told me to get in the driver's seat because he just needed to go up in the building really fast. And there was no need to pay for parking. So I hopped in the driver's seat, and it seemed like he was taking really long. And in my dream, it had kind of like this eerie feeling like something may have happened. So I was looking up, trying to see if I could see him. I didn't know what floor he went to, and it was one of those tall skyscraper buildings. And so I started calling his phone, and in my dream, his son answered the phone, and I had asked for him, and his son turned around and said, "Ma, they want Dad." And I woke up. I said to myself, this man has a family. So I had got out of school, I believe it was the next day, and I was listening to my messages, and there was a message there for a woman saying, "Hi, this is so-and-so's girlfriend, and I want you to leave my man alone." I believed her right off the bat. I said to myself, this man really has a family. And I stopped answering my phone. I went the other way. I was making sure he couldn't bump into me. I just went radio silent. And he was leaving all kinds of messages and texting me saying, "I'm going to come to your job," because I had already told him that he could no longer come by my job because of confidentiality issues. And he was like, "If you don't answer the phone, I'm going to come to your job." So I finally texted back and I said, "Your girlfriend called me." And I was telling him, go away. And he said, "No, that must be one of your friends playing on the phone." I told him, "My friends don't even know you exist." And he kept denying. But I knew in my heart that the Lord showed me in a dream before I even got the message. And I believed it. And I knew that it was real. And I know that God always makes a way of escape. It was difficult because I had really liked him. I think I even cried a little bit. But yeah, I shut that door and I locked it. And it's almost like I put nails in it. I wouldn't dare do such a thing.
Ro, what do you mean by believable? This man was believable.
Well, it seemed like he could have been a potential husband. It felt real. It felt genuine. He was my type in every way. I worked third shift at the time, so we really didn't see each other that much. But we would, go out to eat or something. He would stop by the salon that I also worked at. He was just so nice. He would fix my car, and I didn't run from him the way that I would a typical guy who I feel like there ain't gonna be nothing to that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I thought like this could potentially be something. We had the same God, and he engaged me. If I talked about the Lord or scripture, it felt like we were building. And there were times when he would call and just see if I had lunch with me, or if I needed him to bring me something, or he was just, in my mind at the time, just a really good guy. He told me that he told his mother about me. He knew I was saved just from the beginning of meeting me. And I'm guilty of liking men that are rough around the edges, that got some street to them, but are men, testosterone and stud,
I'm the man.
I really kind of been a sucker for that, I guess, in life. And I don't know what was true or what was a lie at this point, but he was a good one. And I'm very blessed that the Lord gave me the dream, and I'm blessed that the girlfriend gave me a call. And I didn't play the game of, well, they're not married. She didn't say she wasn't like, no. I shut it down because I'm not doing that. I am not a passenger in anybody's life, and I take the back seat to no one. I felt very humiliated, and I was really disappointed. But I knew that was a door that I couldn't play with. So back to you, Zina.
Hi, everyone. Yes. I want to start off with, I got pregnant with my son. My baby's father he wanted the baby because he said it in the beginning. Yes, let's have this baby. And while I was pregnant, something went wrong. It didn't click with him that we were going to have a child. He wanted to be with someone else. So I said, okay. Now, my son was born 24 weeks. He was disabled. He was challenged. The doctors told me he was going to be blind, quadriplegic. I just didn't know what to do. So I went to my baby's father and said, listen, my son deserves a mother and a father. Let's give him that chance. And he was like, no. It hurt me. It hurt me deep to the core. It hurt me to the core. He didn't want to be a part of my child's life. So I asked him, what will it take? And he says nothing, because he wanted to be with someone else. Now, I was getting child support $50 a week. And Lord and behold, out of nowhere, out of the blue, he decided to take me to court. Because he said he's paying too much. $50. And so we going back and forth. Then after that, he said he wanted joint custody. I said, of my son? Knowing what you've done, you said you want joint custody of my son. I at that time, I was fighting for me and Dawson.
Well, what did he do?
His father was, I say, about a year prior to this relationship, he went to jail for raping his daughter, 7-year-old daughter. But his family kept denying it. It was a court term that you don't have to plead to it, and you don't have to say you're guilty. You can say you're innocent. It was a term they used.
Like a NOLO.
Yeah, there you go. So now I'm like, okay, so we got together. And now I'm pregnant. Now the baby's here, a 24-weeker. He's here. So when you're telling me you're going to take me to court for my child, the one you don't want to pay child support for. So, I was angry. When I said I was mad, I was mad. So I get up out of court and going back and forth. I get up and go outside. That's how hot I was. And when I got outside, the Lord said, just say hi to this lady, this white lady, which I didn't know. I was telling her my situation, and she goes, you go back in there and you tell them I want a forensic interview for for the baby's father. And she goes, and see what they do. And at that time, I went back in. I said, I'll do anything you ask. I'll give you what you want. Do a forensic interview on this man. And if you can guarantee me that he's not going to do this again, I'll give him what he wants. The attorney said, we can't do that. Right? Lord and behold, I get into the court to see the judge. and I knew the judge, but it was okay because he knew very well that this judge I knew.
Right.
And so I said, Judge, you know what? I'm not going through this. I says, if he doesn't want to pay child support, he don't have to pay child support, but he will not get joint custody. And they said, we won't give him any custody. You can do this on your own. I said, yes, I can. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I said, yes, I can. Mm-hmm. And from that day, I have never seen him, heard from him, except one time. In 2009, I get a letter from prison because he did it again.
Wow.
Did it again. My. I would have owned the state of Connecticut if they would have gave it to him.
Oh my God.
So he's in prison now. He's writing and saying, I made a mistake. I said I didn't want our family, but now after all this, I want our family. I said, well, you made that mistake. You keep making it. Bye-bye. It was no longer, you're going to be in my son's life. My son is not going to have your last name because I don't want him to have the stigmatism of having to do with a man who sexually raped 2 girls. One was your daughter, 7 years old. The second was a 10-year-old niece. You didn't get a third time with your son. So I had to close that door. I had to make a decision. My son knows who his father is. My son knows good and well that he can talk to him. But to my son at 16, he's not a dad. He's just a person.
Wow, that's an interesting story.
But listen, this is Janipher speaking now. I do have a question. And both of you may know the answer. So, you asked for a forensic interview?
Yes.
Is that what saved you?
Yeah, because
the
judge could not guarantee he will not do the same crime again. And it just so happens that he did it again. Not even I say 4 months after he took me to court. Not even 4 months, he did it again.
Well, forensic interviews, they have characteristics of a psychological evaluation, but they are meant to elicit details because those interviews are investigative. Like you said, he plead a nolo, so there's really they are structured. For example, a child might be interviewed to find out what really happened and to understand what their perpetrator is capable of. Yeah, that was very helpful to your case, Zina.
Interesting. That's good to know.
I think all women should know.
Well, a time when I had to close a difficult door is... Can I just be blunt? Can I just get to the point?
Get to the point.
The door I had to close was the door of my legs.
Oh.
And not to sound brash or anything.
I get.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Like I said in one of the other podcasts, I was a promiscuous teen. I had my first child at the age of 16. And I don't know, I guess there was just something within me that felt like I knew what men wanted. I thought what they needed. And it was my duty to give it to them if they were my man.
Didn't all women think that? All girls think that?
They were your man.
And as long as he was my man now. So, as time went on, so I got saved. I got saved at the age of 18. And I did good for a while. I was doing good. Until I tried to date being saved.
Was that difficult?
I love the Lord. Mm-hmm. As a child, I grew up in the church. I got away from God. I got away from the faith. came back, like I said, at the age of 18. But I could not turn off, as I found out, trying to, date in the church, talk to a guy. But I think it was too early in my walk of salvation, to tell you the truth, to even be dating. Mm-hmm. But I didn't realize that at the time. So I dated this one guy, and of course, he was just totally the wrong guy. I met him on a bus. He saw me reading my Bible on the bus. He started a conversation. Come to find out, he was a musician. One thing led to another, and by and by, when the morning came, I found myself one day, we woke up in the bed together. So finally, I was getting ready to marry this guy. He had come to find out he was using drugs. Little by little, like a $20 would go missing, a roll of quarters would go missing. We didn't live together, but he would come over to my apartment sometimes. And I eventually found some white powdery substance that he had dropped. I picked it up and didn't let him know. And then I inquired about it. I believe my church at the time fasted and prayed for me and got me out of that situation. Because like I said before, he had asked me to marry him. So again, the Lord got me out of that. So, time went by and I met my husband, the man that I did end up marrying. But honestly, before we married, both of us were in the church. We did get intimately involved. But, we did get married. We stayed together all of 4 years. We ended up having 2 children. But again, we broke up. So now I'm alone again. We're not divorced, but I'm alone, and I'm learning now how to get close to God, to get to know, who I am in Christ.
Yes.
I'm focusing on the Lord. I'm happy with just me and Jesus. Mm-hmm. But you will be tested. Let me tell you why I say that. So one day I was going into my apartment, but one of my neighbors, this teenage young man, he ran up to me and said, Miss Padgett, this big old husky, busky man was knocking at your door. So I guess that was like so exciting to the people in the neighborhood because, I was the church girl. They didn't see people coming in and out of my house, coming to my door. I really didn't have company. And it was just me and my children just back and forth to church. My children and I, back and forth to work, church, and school. So he described the person to me and I knew exactly who it was. Earlier in the conversation when I was explaining about the guy that I found out that was using drugs and taking money from me. So it was him. So one day time went by, there was a school day. Kids were home. It was a snow day. Kids were home. And I just felt something. So I looked out my window. And this guy, I'm not naming names, he was walking towards my apartment. And I got so afraid. And so then
It's like your demon coming.
So then I told everybody in the house, be quiet. Be quiet. Now I'm terrified in my own house, okay? So then he's knocking on the door and I'm like, shh. And I took my youngest son, because he was like 3 or something at the time. So I just covered his mouth and I put him real close to me. Because, of course, he wanted to know, why and what was going on.
That's thoughts.
But they be like, why? It's like, shut up.
Yeah, I just want you to be quiet. So we were just still and quiet. This guy was persistent, and he went around to my back door. Knocking, ringing my bell. So we just stood up against the wall. I literally, when I came to myself, I realized I was frozen up against the wall, holding my poor guy, and holding my breath until this guy left.
Holding your breath.
Because I was just determined that I was going to stick to this. I was not
fall in the same trap.
going to keep letting men use me, abuse me, and torment my mind. I had decided that I was going to shut that door, and I meant it, every bit of it. And truly, the Lord has kept me. I won't say how long. I made that mistake one time, and the Lord has kept me for many, many years, to the point where one of my cousins said, "Well, I don't want the Lord to keep me that long." but I'm happy and I'm free.
All right. Wow, interesting. Listen, shut them doors. Shut those doors. They're not worth it.
Shut the doors.
They're not worth it. We thank you for tuning in to Closing Difficult Doors. We'd like to leave you with this. Dysfunction and abuse on any level is never an option. Whatever it takes, close the door.